A few days ago, I was returning home from work late at night, and I approached a crossing where I stopped my car. And even though there were blinkers, just because I know how much people jump traffic lights in India, and how intersections have become extremely dangerous. And as I was standing there, I saw from the other side a gentleman sitting on a huge gentleman sitting on a Enfield, approaching the intersection at a very high speed. And from the other side, I saw another car approaching the intersection. And I sort of assumed that one of them will see each other, and they'll slow down or they'll stop. But that did not happen. They both came in speeding, and the bike hit the car actually. And I saw the bike rider flying up in the air, about 8 or 9 feet, and landing right on the car. And I was stunned. And knowing what to do in that emergency, I immediately took my phone out and did the first thing that anybody's supposed to do, which is call for help. And even as I'm dialing for help, and I see this guy standing up, he brushed his clothes, he picked up his bike, he sat on it, and he went on. Now, that is not the usual situation in accidents in India, as many of us know. I think he was very lucky. So, when I was asked to speak at this event, I was asked to speak about my idea of India. And I have 3 stories to tell you about what my idea of India is about. The stories will hopefully lead to that. The first story is about a 16-year-old boy who is returning from school. It's about 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and he is trying to cross the road. As usual, there's heavy traffic, and he can't find a space, but somehow he figures that there is some space for him to cross, and he makes a run for it. As he makes a run for it, he gets struck by a vehicle, and he falls down on the road. He's bleeding all over, but somehow he musters the courage to drag himself to the side of the road. There's a tree there, and he just sits with his head against the tree, and he asks for help, hoping that one of the several thousand people who may be crossing that side would come forward to help him. 45 minutes pass, and nobody really comes forward to assist him, and he eventually passes away. The second story is about a lady here in Delhi who just 2 nights before Diwali last year, she's going home in an auto rickshaw, in a 3-wheeler. And her auto rickshaw gets run over by a bus. And this lady is 8 months pregnant. So writhing in pain, she drags herself out of the auto, and she delivers her child on the road, right there. Delhi Police Command Room gets a phone call from some passerby saying that there's been an accident, a lady's involved, she's delivered a child, and they mobilize a PCR van, Eagle 21, to respond to that victim. The PCR van reaches there, they pick both the victims, they find the mother bleeding, they find the child unresponsive, he's not breathing. So they start performing CPR on the child, on the newborn. And a female staff inside the PCR van tries to control bleeding of the mother. So they're taken to LNJP hospital first, then they're referred to Ram Manohar Lohia hospital here in Delhi. And eventually they get care on time, and they get both make it. Both the mother and the baby make it. The third story is about a country that realizes that it loses 15 people every hour in road accidents, according to its own statistics. It loses about $30 billion as economic loss resulting from road accidents. that it does not have rapid emergency medical services and realizes and creates such services. And it realizes that it needs to create an environment where bystanders and people who see injured victims come forward to assist them. It realizes that it has a fractured licensing system, something that can control the quality of drivers coming on our roads, and fixes it. It realizes that enforcement of traffic laws is not about just enforcement of traffic laws. It's about sending a message to your would-be criminals that you have your streets under control. That if you do a small infraction, you will get punishment for that, so that you don't go on to rob or rape people. It's a country that realizes that its road engineering needs to be fixed so that the most vulnerable of its road users don't fall into ditches and fall in front of moving trucks. It's about a country that makes sure there is some sort of a system that injured persons get care within the first 10 minutes of the accident. Now, the first story about the kid who got hit and did not get attention is about my cousin Shivam, who lost his life a few years ago in a road accident, exactly the way I explained it to you. The second story is about two cops who were trained by Save Life Foundation, an organization that I set up after Shivam's death, something that pushed me from private equity to road safety. And the third story is my idea for India and the future of the work that we're doing at Save Life Foundation. So that's about it. I don't have a lot more to share because I also know that we are pressing on time. But if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them. Yes.
I work with the traffic police, and I find that most traffic policemen do not know what to do in the case of an accident, but they don't even know how to treat the person who is just falling down.
Right.
And of course, they don't also know traffic rules,
Yeah.
traffic signals, but that's another thing. But have you worked with DTP, Mr. Arora or somebody?
Well, we work with Delhi Police, UP Police, Maharashtra Police, Andhra Pradesh Police, and now with Rajasthan Police. Not yet had a chance to work with Haryana Police, but it's a story that goes across the board. Most police departments in India don't have the intellectual or the human resource bandwidth to actually implement traffic laws or even provide assistance to victims who are injured. It's a matter of simple training. We've developed a new technology along with Religare Health 4 that actually networks all trained police persons and volunteers through their mobile phones, and they get a robocall on their phone in case of an incident in the area. But we are a small organization. We are trying to get more states to adopt this model of ensuring first responder care, because we understand if there are any doctors here, they'd appreciate that the first 10 minutes after a critical injury are the most important minutes of that person's life. And if an intervention has to be made, it has to be made in that specific period. So we're trying to get more organizations to adopt it. We have several PIs in Supreme Court, one of which is to lay guidelines to make first aid mandatory, as part of school curriculum, not as an optional option, but something that every child has to go through while they are going through school. The Bureau of Police Research and Development picked up our program and sent on 19th October last year an advisory to all states and union territories of India, asking them to adopt some sort of a similar model for first responder care for injured persons. So this is all work in progress, and hopefully, we'll get an opportunity to work with Haryana Police as well.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I'm Shakti Sharma from Swayam Shakti Foundation.
Since you were talking about accidents and the people who get affected by it, uh, talking about avoiding accidents is one thing, and talking about the people who are really affected and who are living a life that is more miserable than dying, uh, I want to draw your and everybody's attention towards it. I work for youth turning blind in India, those who turn blind between the ages of 18 to 24, and most of them are road accidents. You know, whenever there is a road accident, either there's a head injury or the eyeballs are ruptured and out of their eye sockets. Now, when they're turning blind at the age of 18, 20, 24, bringing them back to mainstream of society. We are working over it for 9 long years, and I would like you to even venture into this with us.
Absolutely, I agree with you. You know, I mentioned that India loses about 15 people every hour in road accidents. But what I failed to mention, and I'm glad you brought this up, is that while 15 people die, 60 people every hour, that's one person every minute on an average, gets seriously injured or permanently disabled as a result of road accidents. And that's a huge burden on our society, where about 600,000 people every year are either dying or getting disabled as a result of something which globally is believed to be almost 100% preventable. And that's what I said, that the future of our work as we progress in this direction is on the policy front, is on trying to reduce accidents and not just respond to accidents. But thank you for actually bringing this very crucial point up about disability and injury as a result of road accidents. So we recently researched and launched a program called ADAPT, which stands for Anticipatory Driving and Accident Prevention Training. We have limited resources, so we are primarily targeting high-risk driver groups. So we are currently working with the Tata Group to train about 4,000 of their drivers in this anticipatory driving technique, by way of which, hopefully, and we've done some piloting of this, but hopefully they'll be able to anticipate collisions before they take place and take corrective action. Hopefully in future, we'll be able to expand it enough to have more people undergo this program. But for us, measurement is extremely important. So while we launch something, it's important that we measure that program. So in our earlier program, the one that started a few years ago, we work with Bloomberg, Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health to actually measure that program and to actually gauge its impact. And we are looking at finding an agency that can work with us independently to measure the impact of this ADAPT program as well. And if we know it has an impact, we will most certainly expand it and take it to a wider audience.
Interesting and quite satisfying. We are doing some medical tourism from Belgaum, Karnataka. Nowadays, we have started operating in Mumbai and all. We are having camps, things like that. One of the largest bus services in Mumbai, the best bus services, they have a large number of employees, and we are having a program with them. Would you like to collaborate with us?
Sure, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. We can touch base after the program. And
thank you, Piyush.